And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're 10,000 shy of 300,000. So let's get there today. Hit subscribe, watch, comment. I want your comments and share with a friend. Now, as we discussed earlier this week, the drama with Judge Boasberg and the deportation flights, it's not going away anytime soon. Trump called for the impeachment of the judge, and Musk, obviously his wealthy sidekick, decided to make the maximum allowable donation to any Republican members of Congress who are supporting Boasberg's impeachment. Now, I want to show you a graphic of the people that Musk donated to. I mean, just imagine this. You have Representative Lauren Boebert, right? Ellie Crane, Andrew Clyde, Brandon Gill, Andy Ogles, Derek Van Orgen, and Senator Chuck Grassley. I mean, just imagine that these folks are for sale. That's really what it should say at the top, for sale. Now, Representative Brandon Gill was one of those people that was on that list. And I want to show you here what Representative Eric Swalwell's response to his accepting this donation is. Play the clip.
I have to ask you this. For impeachment, obviously, you have to have high crimes, misdemeanors. What crime did the judge commit?
This is for usurping the executive's authority, for demeaning the impartiality of the court by making a politicized ruling and forcing a constitutional crisis. That is a high crime and misdemeanor.
Congressman, your reaction to that?
I will take your word that that guy is in Congress. I've never seen him do anything but tweet out this performative nonsense, which is just a pro wrestling act to raise money and to thump your chest and pretend like you're tough. What he just said there sounds like a ChatGPT answer. But you know what, Jonathan? I don't do play Congress. I do big boy Congress. So if this guy wants to bring his articles of impeachment forward, he knows how to do it. He can call for a vote immediately, and then he can meet me and Jasmine Crockett and Jamie Raskin and all of the others and have a real debate in the Judiciary Committee. And I promise you, Jonathan, we will beat it back because it's nonsense. And he can try and impeach every judge he wants. Democracy will beat him every single day.
Well, I think we got to be careful about that, Eric. And I think the world of Eric Swalwell. In fact, I tried to convince him to run for president. Here's the reason why I say that. Because at the present moment, the Republicans control the House. Yes, they control the Senate too. I'll get to that in a quick second. But they control the House. If this guy gets this articles of impeachment up before the House, and every member of the Republican Party ends up voting for it, the articles of impeachment will go through. Now, of course, it then goes to the Senate, where it's not just by a simple majority. That's where it will fail, all right? And the question that I really want to raise is, will Republicans in the House stand up for what they know is right, or are they all for sale? Now, let me be clear. Judge isn't playing games here, and government has until today to answer questions that the judge has asked about the situation. Here's Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, commenting on the matter. Play the clip.
Pam, thanks for being with us this afternoon. Let's start, if we might, from the decision by Judge Boasberg. Tomorrow is your deadline to answer questions. Those questions include the following: what time did the plane take off from U.S. soil? Where did it leave from? What time did it leave U.S. airspace? And what time did it land in a foreign country? You have, 4, 5, 6 questions the judge wants answers to regarding the details of those flights over the weekend. How will you respond at the Department of Justice?
Well, our lawyers are working on this. We will answer appropriately, but what I will tell you is this judge has no right to ask those questions. You have one unelected federal judge trying to control foreign policies, trying to control the Alien Enemies Act, which they have no business presiding over. And there are 261 reasons why Americans are safer now. That's because those people are out of this country. The judge had no business, no power to do what he did. And Will, he came in on an emergency basis on a Saturday with very, very short notice, if any, to our attorney to run in the courtroom. You know, and this has been a pattern with these liberal judges. You just spoke about that. It's been a pattern with what they've been doing. This judge had no right to do that. They're meddling in foreign affairs. They're meddling in our government. And the question should be, why is a judge trying to protect terrorists who have invaded our country over American citizens?
You know, funny thing is, I was a fan of Pam Bondi's years ago, and I can't believe that she's now putting out responses like this, considering she knows what she's saying is false. Absolutely, the judge has the authority to ask these questions. All right, that's called checks and balances. The judiciary is a co-equal branch of government. So yes, a federal court judge has the absolute right. And yes, he may not be an elected official. He was appointed by the president, just as Attorney General Pam Bondi was. And the fact that she's playing this game, it's very scary. It's very scary when your Attorney General is doing this. And why do I say that? Because I have experience. I have personal experience when it comes to an Attorney General pandering to this sort of ideology. Now, of course, Karoline Leavitt was asked about the situation during yesterday's press briefing, and she spoke about Boasberg as a Democrat activist and got some of the facts wrong as well. That's not surprising. But what I do find surprising is how each and every one of the people who are speaking on behalf of the president have these talking points, calling this judge an activist, a liberal, an out of touch, judge that is overstepping and usurping his authority. This is the message that they are all required to say. Play the clip.
And this judge, Judge Boasberg, is a Democrat activist. He was appointed by Barack Obama. His wife has donated more than $10,000 to Democrats, and he has consistently shown his disdain for this president and his policies, and it's unacceptable.
Right where I wanted to go about the idea that these people are all foreign terrorists, but Judge Boasberg was originally appointed by George W. Bush and then elevated by Barack Obama. I just feel like I should clear that up.
Well, let me just...
And tens of millions of Americans didn't vote for him because they're afraid of policies like this. Karoline, let me explain to you, considering obviously nobody else is. There is a reason why you have judges. And the reason why you have judges is to ensure that the law is complied with. Now, I'm not for keeping these thugs, these gangsters, these murderers, these drug dealers in this country. I am not. What I am interested in seeing is to ensure that due process was done. That process was done in and of itself in order to ensure that no one individual who was on that aircraft should not have been on the aircraft. All right? That's what this is all about. Not about whether to deport these people or not. Nobody wants to or disagrees with that sort of agenda. Just run through the process. Everything doesn't have to be done in 24 hours overnight. We know that haste makes waste. And if just one of those 261 people are improperly on that flight, that's wrong. Now, she also called out Democrats for judge shopping when, let me be clear about this, Trump, Republicans, they do that as well. Play the clip.
To point out that the judges in this country are acting erroneously. We have judges who are acting as partisan activists from the bench. They are trying to dictate policy from the President of the United States. They are trying to clearly slow walk this administration's agenda, and it's unacceptable. As the President said last night, we will continue to comply with these court orders. We will continue to fight these battles in courts, but it's incredibly apparent that there is a concerted effort by the far left to judge shop, to pick judges who are clearly acting as partisan activists activists from the bench in an attempt to derail this president's agenda. We will not allow that to happen. And not only are they usurping the will of the president and the chief executive of our country, but they are undermining the will of the American public, tens of millions of Americans who duly elected this president to implement the policies that are coming out of this White House.
And then one more question. Senate Minority Leader.
You heard me turn around and say that not one of these 261 individuals who were deported should be improperly deported. Well, a reporter goes on and asks, okay then, why won't the administration release information about the people that they sent to El Salvador? Play the clip.
Karoline, back to those deportation flights to El Salvador. Can the administration provide any more details on how authorities determined that each of those men were in fact members of a gang? And if the White House can publish images, photos, videos of those men, why can't the administration just release basic information like their identities and names?
We are not going to reveal operational details about a counterterrorism operation, but what I can assure you, as I said on Monday, we have the highest degree of confidence in our ICE agents and our Customs and Border Patrol agents who have committed their lives to targeting illegal criminals in our country, particularly foreign terrorists, and they had great evidence and indication. They have the highest degree of professionalism, and they were 100% confident in the individuals that were sent home on these flights and in the president's executive authority to do that.
Follow up, I know in the last briefing you cited privacy concerns as a reason why the administration may not be able to reveal the identities. What exactly are the privacy rights of immigrants who were deported that the administration says were dangerous enough to be sent to El Salvador and sit in a prison?
Again, as I just said, we're not going to reveal the operational details of a counterterrorism operation for quite obvious reasons. We're trying to combat terrorism here in the United States of America. Jeff.
What an answer. What bullshit. Could you imagine? You imagine they're not going to release the names because they're 100% certain so that they don't have to. Now, Karoline was also asked how Trump defines a bad judge. Play that clip.
Understanding, and that's the truth.
And if I could ask a question about the judge as well. How does a president define a bad judge? Is it just someone who disagrees with him? And is that a dangerous precedent in this case, because this is a temporary ruling from Judge Boasberg that he could ultimately rule in your favor? Is he setting up a standard here for calling for the impeachment of a judge who may ultimately rule on your side?
No, it has nothing to do with disagreeing with the president on policy. It's with disagreeing with the Constitution and the law. And it's trying to usurp the authority of the executive branch of this country. It's having baseless reasoning for these injunctions. And it's a clear effort by these judges to slow roll this president's agenda.
Again, same talking points regurgitated over and over and over. Meanwhile, Representative Jim Jordan is asked, what impeachable offenses has Judge Boasberg done? Play that clip.
Done that you believe is an impeachable offense under the constitutional description of high crimes and misdemeanors?
All I'm saying is if you're acting in a political fashion and not just, following the law, ruling on the law, and I would argue that, frankly, just his ruling in and of itself, remember, the Constitution is pretty clear. Article 2, Section 1, very first sentence says, power in the executive branch shall be vested in a president of the United States. The president has the authority.
Again, talking points. Meanwhile, Mark Levin starts ranting about judges seizing power before our eyes. Like it's a crazy coup. Play the clip.
When these judges are conducting themselves this way, when they're interfering with an election, when they're grabbing, seizing power in front of our eyes. We're all smart. We see it from the executive branch, a president of the United States. He's elected nationally. They're created by Congress. They're not even in the Constitution. They're using a power judicial review that's not even in the Constitution, that was created by the Supreme Court in 1803. They should at least have some level of deference to the President of the United States. And notice,
not if he's doing something that is improper. And finally, I want to end on another clip of Mark Levin speaking about a judicial oligarchy. You can't make this stuff up. Play the clip.
Is becoming a sham. The American people are losing faith in the judiciary. We can't have a judicial oligarchy of unelected judges at the trial court level who aren't even in the Constitution telling the president what to do on human resources, on the border, on deporting criminal illegal aliens. I mean, wait until we get to non-criminal illegal aliens. Can't tell him he can't look at payroll. He can't look at data. What is it that the president can do? Martha, these are...
Yeah, once again, he really has a limited understanding of the role of the president. And that's why, my friends, we need to remain vigilant, keep this community going day in and day out, because this is the kind of crap that we're going to have to fight against. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.